If you've ever watched a bee buzz from flower to flower, gathering pollen, building up the hive, and eventually kicking back while the colony thrives, and then thought the only thing that could make this more beautiful would be adding in sentience and spaceships, then you've basically already dreamed up Apiary. Apiary is a worker placement game where hyper-evolved space bees explore the galaxy, build massive hives, and prep for cosmic hibernation. It's got that signature Stonemaier polish with a delightfully bizarre theme. Apiary is designed by Connie Vogelman and published by Stonemaier Games. It plays 1 to 5 players and should take you about an hour and a half to play. I'm Ryan and this is How I Roll. Thank you so much for joining me today for this board game review. There's always room at the table for you. So swarm on over to the table for a look at Apiary and then we'll meet up at the end for some final thoughts. Apiary drops you into a future where humanity's gone AWOL and bees have leveled up to interstellar overlords. You command one of 20 asymmetric factions deploying worker bees to claim resources, unlock tech, discover planets, and construct your hive, all racing to rack up the most victory points before the big sleep hits. The game flows through worker placement on a central board, using these bees that have increasing strength levels of 1 to 4. On your turn, you'll place a bee on one of these main actions. Explore. Advance the shared queenship to uncover planets, snagging resources, tech bonuses, or seed cards that fuel your engine. Grow. Recruit fresh bees to your workforce or gain a frame to add to your hive and increase its capacity. Research. Draw seed cards which can be used for their printed benefits, discarded for a single resource, or planted as a seed to gain endgame victory points. Convert. Here you send your bees to perform various dances. Yeah, I know, dancing bees? Sounds crazy. Can't really be much worse than my dancing though. These dances let you trade resources and cards in order to gain the ones you need or to upgrade them to wax and honey. Advance. Spend your hard-earned resources to renovate your hive by adding these tiles which provide income powers, ongoing abilities, and victory points. Carve. Here you go full Property Brothers and grab these shiny golden tiles to turn your hive into a ballin' mansion. These all offer powerful endgame scoring opportunities. Now this game has 2 cool twists on worker placement. First, no spot ever locks you out. You can always displace previously placed workers and use the action. This causes the bump bee to level up or prepare to collect income. Second, each action space provides an added bonus if you placed a level 4 bee there. These include planting your seed cards, teaching dances, gaining points, upgrading your starting faction tile, and cashing in on planetary bonuses. Anytime a level 4 bee would increase its strength, it enters hibernation, meaning you lose it forever. Kind of reminds me of when I was a kid and my dad told me my puppy went into hibernation. Wait a second. However, it's not all bad because you place it in the hibernation comb and receive its space's instant benefits. Once the hibernation comb is filled or one player has placed 7 bees here, which would be a serious comb monopoly, the game ends. You now receive points from the following: seed cards you have planted and fulfilled, points listed on farms, recruits, and developments, satisfying the scoring conditions on your built carvings, your spot on the Queen's favorite track, completed frames and hive mats, your faction's endgame ability, and any hibernation comb sectors where you hold the majority. The player with the most points wins and is officially crowned as the Queen Bee. The rest of you just might not be cut out for interplanetary pollen collecting. So, is Apiary a sweet nectar hit or a real buzzkill? Let's roll out some pros and cons. Pros. The bumping and leveling up mechanics are brilliant. You really don't have dead turns where you're stressed because the action space you wanted is full. No, now instead you're just stressing about how to combo and plan your actions with more options. The hibernation tension is super rich. You obviously want more powerful workers, but if you level up too fast, you'll eventually lose them to hibernation. However, you also want bees to hibernate for the bonuses and endgame points. The variety of actions almost feels like a little bit of a mini game puzzle that all fits together. It's more than just go collect a resource here, build something here, and so on. There are just some neat layers within the different locations. As always, a nice production with cool components, a great rulebook, and enjoyable asymmetric faction powers from Stonemaier Games. Cons. The only thing I'll say is that the game actually feels just a bit too short to me. Maybe that's part of the puzzle, but I feel like in my games, we've always wished we had just a bit more time to do all the things. All that to say, this is another hit in the Stonemaier lineup. I particularly enjoyed the leveling up of the bees and how you have to manage that in order to be efficient and successful. It's a solid game. But the question is, will you think this game is the bee's knees? I would recommend this game to fans of Euphoria, more Stonemaier goodness, Honeybuzz, Cryo, and Architects of the West Kingdom. Basically, if you crave evolving workers, positive shared engines, and Euro depth that doesn't overstay its welcome on the table, and if you're allergy-free or you have your EpiPen on hand, then this just might be the game for you. Well, thanks again for joining me for another review. Feel free to hit subscribe and come find me on all the social medias. But for now, see you later, pollinators.